All right, y'all, let's get this started. So, big news. I'm glad I was able to, do a little research for myself, and you can consider this a video of a continuation of the information that I gave in the last video. And we're gonna stick with these running backs. And one of the possible situations that I was talking about actually did happen. So, literally, just about 2 hours ago, maybe about an hour and a half ago, it seemed like it was going to be a stalemate. Well, we're in week two, week three. We were between week two and week three of the preseason, and Indianapolis Colts have granted Johnathan Taylor a trade request, and right now their trade demands are straight up first round pick for Johnathan Taylor or some type of package that can appease them that feel that they can get the premium value for Johnathan Taylor. That's all I'm going to talk about the trade because we're here for fantasy. As usual, once again, I did prep y'all in a way to understand that the main two guys that you have to look at now that Jonathan Taylor's not there, I told you there's going to be situations. I still feel there might be a situation or two that you're going to end up with a $5,000 running back. And right now, you're going to end up with a $5,000 running back. You're either going to have Zack Moss for 5,700, or you're going to save the money, or you're going to save. Well, you're already saving on either or. One is 5,700. The guy that I told you, I think you should pick would be Deon Jackson. Now, currently, when it comes to the depth chart, because I think the Colts have a game Thursday against the Philadelphia Eagles. Right now, when it comes to that running back depth chart, the running back depth chart still reads Jonathan Taylor. That news just broke, so he's still there. Remember, he's still on the route until he gets traded. But behind him, it's Zack Moss, the number two, Deon Jackson, the number three, because like I said, he's more of a scat back, third down back. But when I give you a little bit of this news and comparison or whatever, the reason why I like Deon Jackson, you can run Deon Jackson. He's had opportunities where Jonathan Taylor was nicked up last year, and he was able to handle the load and produce pretty well in a couple of situations. But behind Moss and Deon Jackson, like I said, some of the guys that I spoke about, you have Evan Hall, Jake Funk, and then you pretty much have Kenyon Drake and Jason Huntley pretty much vying to just not get cut. At most, a team is going to carry four running backs, sometimes three, but at most four. So right now, if I see who knows what they get back for Jonathan Taylor, they might get a running back, or they just might build around the team because they do have Zack Moss. Zack Moss, what, 2-3 year starter, had some injury troubles in Buffalo, but didn't quite get the opportunity that I think he should have with the few times that he did show a burst and skill to handle the workload, because it seemed like they just like, for the Bills anyway, they like the diversity of what Devin Singletary brought, but he didn't really burst on the scene. He was pretty consistent. Zack Moss, what I like about him, when you give him the opportunity, you gotta give him the opportunity and let him work to warm up. You gotta give him the 15 to 18 carries. He doesn't fumble. He's a solid guy, but when one, you're playing behind a running back, and two, your quarterback is Josh Allen. Shit, unless the game plan requires it, the backup running back is not really going to get much. So, but like I said, Deon Jackson to me is the total package. Can run, facilitates out the backfield into the flat, and then I think he's the FanDuel guy that you want. Plus, like I said, Zack Moss is not the receiving type at all. He rarely catches any passes. I think it's really Deon Jackson. Not every running back that catches passes is always going to be the better one. Sometimes there are guys that can run it. Now, here's the other thing. You got Richardson. You got a guy like Moss and Jackson. Could they possibly run it more? Yes. I don't think they want Anthony Richardson throwing it more than 30 times in the game. I don't think so. Will they design runs for Anthony Richardson? Yes. Those kind of running quarterbacks, do they downgrade running backs in a way? Yes. But like I said, those guys are still going to get plays, and somebody like Deon Jackson will be looked at on the second and third down in the flat. So both of them are good players. But like I said, I will be going for Deon Jackson. I will favor him slightly, and it's not because of the price. It's just I think the ceiling is higher on Deon Jackson. So if we look here, so now we'll start with Zack Moss first, because right now, if they just trade Jonathan Taylor for a bunch of other pieces, don't go running back. Zack Moss underwent surgery literally the first day of this month. He is literally scheduled from that day 6 weeks. So his arm is supposed to be better by the time the season starts. But do I see him getting a full workload? Not doing it. I mean, he's young, but he hasn't done a thing. He can't do nothing without the broken arm. which is also why I feel Deon Jackson gets the advantage here. Zack Moss, could he? Okay, bottom line, he's missing the preseason, but could his arm get better where he does some workouts and get at least into a little bit of feel and maybe take some contact? Okay, yeah. But since he hasn't been doing anything, that's why I like Deon Jackson. But last year, Zack Moss, not much to talk about. But towards the end of the season, when he got the opportunity, it wasn't until literally December 17th, and then 4 weeks after that, he was getting 12 or more carries. Like I said, he doesn't get any passes. They wasn't playing for anything. So even in that garbage game against Houston, he got 3 targets for 7 yards. He's not a pass catcher. But from December 17th, he got 24 carries, 12 carries, 15 carries, and 18 carries. Yes, Josh Allen is going to QB sneak, so the touchdown value is not going to be there. But he still ran in those consecutive weeks for 81 yards, 65 yards, 74 yards, and then finished the season finale for 114 yards and scored 19.6 that game. So as you can see, not much evidence of him doing much, but Zack Moss has to have the opportunity to get in the flow of the game. He's not. I've been watching Buffalo Bills. I kind of was in flex of what that running back situation was, and Zack Moss is a volume runner. He's not the type of runner that's gonna give you his value at his price, even at 5,700. He's not gonna do it on 8 to 11, 12 carries. That is not the runner that he is. He is not that person. No, he needs volume. So even though Indy does like to run the ball, he has to get volume, and he has to. And when I say volume, he has to get the 15. He has, unless it's a good running matchup, typical football game, he has to get 15 or more touches. I'm sorry. And for somebody who doesn't have the passing upside, if he needs the volume and he needs 15 carries, and if they're getting blown out, Zack Moss is not going to be in the game towards the end. It's going to be Deon Jackson racking up those screen passes and flat passes from Anthony Richardson, who's already been touted as the starter for Week 1 of the 2023 season. But if we go to Deon Jackson, who's the one that I was like, hey, there's a possibility. And I was already making lineups with this guy. So Deon Jackson, and yes, John Taylor had a subpar year last year, so there are bits and pieces of evidence of him taking the workload and doing somewhat well with it. I would say 3 to 4 cases. Week 2 against Denver on October 6th, 13 carries, 62 yards, also coming out of flat, 4 targets, 4 catches for 29 yards, scored 11.1 points. Week 3 versus Jacksonville, he had 12 carries for 42 yards and a touchdown. He had 10 targets, 10 receptions for 79 yards. That added up to 23.1 points. Even without the touchdown, you minus 6 out of that, and that's what? That's 17. That's 17.1. So, I mean, either or, he can produce both ways. And then obviously, Johnathan Taylor was back, and then it wasn't until December 17th that he went against one of the worst defenses in the league, and he got some burn in that one. Didn't do much out of the backfield, but had 13 carries for 55 yards and scored 10.1 points, but did get 1-for-1 out of the backfield and scored a receiving TD. And then at the end of the season, against Houston, he went for 8 for 35, and then 8 targets, 6 receptions, 75 yards, 14. So as you can see by the proof right there, as you're hearing what I'm saying, the receiving upside is there. I love Deon Jackson this week. I automatically think projections, whatever you use, whether it be Number Fire, whoever you subscribe to, I'm sorry, but Deon Jackson is the free square for game 1. I talked about this in the last video a little bit, and now I'm going more into it. Along with me thinking about Lamar, Beckham, and Mark Andrews, I already built lineups this way. It just depends on whatever you want to do with it. Now, just see what your lineups look like and switch it around. Now you can honestly say this is the base of the lineup, especially with Zack Moss with a broken arm, not taking no contact, not doing anything. Deon Jackson as a running back, Lamar is your quarterback, and if you want, you don't have to put Beckham there because you already got value with him. With Deon Jackson at 56, he's 100 cheaper than Beckham. But if you want to, just see how that looks. or you could single instead of double stack. You could single stack with Lamar, Mark Andrews, Deon Jackson. Then you go from there. But yeah, big news there. It's something that I'm somewhat surprised. I didn't think they was gonna come to a conclusion so fast in a way. Obviously, it will be a conclusion when the trade is. But they weren't trading Johnathan Taylor, and I think there was going to be talks about them trying to keep him, but it doesn't seem that's going to happen. Okay, like I said, I'm actually laughing because I already started prepping for Deon. I mean, we all got a few more weeks to prep with Deon Jackson, but hey, I was kind of on him first. He's one of my favorite players right now. I did speak up Beckham, but I was building lines with Deon Jackson. I definitely was. So there you go. For FanDuel, that's the first free square. Who knows what the hell he is on DraftKings, but Deon Jackson's your free square. Anthony Richardson is going to need that guy in the flat. If he's getting pressured and he's not ready to gun that ball downfield, which he does have some arm talent, but like I said, rookie in regular season action, what's the one thing? You want the guy in the slant, you want the tight end, and then if he's a receiving back, you give it to the receiving back. Just so you reduce the chances of anything going deep, getting tipped, interceptions, or with the rookie quarterback looking downfield, not knowing everything was going on, he's holding, looking, and then he's getting the strip sack fumble. So I think Deon Jackson is going to play a big role in week 1 and beyond that until Zack Moss is fully healthy. Because like I said, I don't think they're going to throw all of that pressure on Anthony Richardson. They're going to need these two running backs. Kind of makes me want to say, like I said, when I did the wide receiver review, I didn't talk about Michael Pittman like that. I don't see Michael Pittman being a strong play till late in the season. Somebody with his talent might be going down if Anthony Richardson can't get him the ball. But it's really looking good for these running backs. So, like I said, I think we just got our first free square. 5,600. He's 600 more. You got a running back that's possibly going to start, and he's $600 more than the top defense or the top price defense in week 1, which is the Ravens at 5,000. Sounds like a nice way to start to me. But anyway, hope you guys like the update video and everything. And what I like here for the depth chart, like I said, to me is Deon Jackson, Zack Moss, somebody that I like. I wish he got more chances in. I wish he did get more chances in Buffalo, but it just didn't work out that way. And like I said, different team scheme and offensive makeup. But it's even though the depth chart has Zack Moss there, if he's nursing a broken arm, he can't take no contact. Right now, for me, it's Deon Jackson. But like I said, things could happen. Even though preseason's over, teams are still working out leading up to their game. So we'll just have to wait and see. But a team like Indy, they will be home. They're not traveling anywhere. So they'll be definitely one of those teams to probably have a depth chart out maybe after Labor Day or before Labor Day and how everything goes. So we'll see. But yeah, Deon Jackson to me, he will be. I mean, it's no surprise that he will be heavily owned. But hopefully you heard it here first. This is Grade A Fantasy with just some preseason news update, and yeah, big news. Now the next thing is, hey, what goes on with Kareem Hunt, and what goes on with Kareem Hunt, and where does Johnathan Taylor go? To be pretty much honest, like that's all that's really left. That's all that's pretty much left. I think the last thing that was on Kareem Hunt, he visited a couple teams. I think the Saints and the Vikings. I think was his last two. The Saints and the Vikings, and I think the Colts. Now that the Colts, and that's another thing. Now he did visit with the Colts, so it's funny that I bring up Kareem Hunt. I do want to talk about Kareem Hunt. I do like him as a talent, running back or whatever, solid vet. If he goes to the Colts, he's definitely without a doubt going to be the number one play. They can work him in, and he's 6,000, so that's still pretty cheap. Not 5,700 or 5,600 cheap, but like I said, Kareem Hunt definitely a factor wherever he goes. But other than that, it's right now all that's left now is Kareem Hunt and Johnathan Taylor, and then I think pretty much besides guys, battling for roster spots in preseason, everything is pretty much set in stone for week one. But hey, man, it's something that I called. I felt that it was gonna happen. I really didn't think they were gonna. I really thought it was gonna be more of a holdout. I just didn't think the trade request was gonna happen so fast. But hey, it did, and here we are. So, but once again, hopefully, like the fantasy news and everything. Like I said, this just dropped a couple hours ago, so I really wanted to get up on this because, like I said, I was so excited and talking about the running back depth and the possibilities of some of these $5,000, even $4,000 players that can possibly play a factor or even start week one if something happens trade wise, holdout wise, whatever could happen in the preseason between now and September 10th. We are under 3 weeks literally, so still a lot of time for things to happen, but we just need, just some clarification. So next up after this is where's Johnathan Taylor? Who offers the first round or the package deal for Johnathan Taylor? And has Kareem Hunt made a decision yet? Because right now there's not really much going on with Kareem Hunt after his visits. He must be mulling it over or talking to see what he could get offered. Obviously, running back market sucks, but it is what it is. Like I said, Zeke got signed, Dalvin got signed. I think Kareem Hunt can get signed or whatever. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's an issue with him and the Browns, but maybe Kareem wants to have the spotlight to himself. He's a capable back to hold on. He's a capable back to hold on to or lead a team as the main running back, but like I said, and there's also been reports of him possibly returning to the Browns. It's not like they had a bad relationship, but he's a free agent. Like, he could go out and check to see what he wants. So, could we get Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb for one more season? Who knows? But like I said, when it comes to that, Kareem Hunt, it's the Colts. And what was it? It's the Colts. The Colts did speak to him. The Colts, the Saints, and I forgot the other team that he went to go visit. And then I think the Browns will let him see what options he can get. They'll probably sign him for a 1-year deal or whatever. So we'll see. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the preseason news update. I'll be keeping track of anything else preseason, and then I'll probably do a preview of week one as we get closer to the actual first full slate. And then leading up to that, I'll also do a preview and a little night episode podcast of the first single game, which will be happening Thursday, the Lions at the Chiefs. So I will be playing that one. I have some satellites for that, so I will be playing that. Try to get some more for that. And then we'll talk about that game, and then like I said, we'll do a re-preview of week one because some of these the money's not going to change, but some of the things that I probably brought up to that could possibly happen probably did happen or didn't happen, but we'll see. Plenty of time in the preseason, and there's still plenty of time. I know football's right there. We can smell it, we can taste it. We can't wait to play season-long fantasy as well. But until then, there's still a lot of chess pieces to be filled and moved and rosters to be set. So once again, this is Grade A Fantasy with a preseason news update. Hope you enjoyed the episode. This is Grade A Fantasy, signing off.